What's going on, everybody? Good Monday morning to you. As you see, I got my boy Devon on here. We get ready to recap last night's game. First off, before I even get started, congratulations on the dub. The Commanders are in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Salute to y'all boys, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. It was definitely a hard-fought game, definitely a stressful game, definitely had my heart beating out my chest towards the end of it. Sure, I was definitely sweating, but we pulled it out. Jayden Daniels, first and foremost, just no words to describe what happened last night, what I saw. That wasn't a rookie playing. That was definitely a 10-year vet playing out of his mind last night. So definitely hats off to him and what we did on offense and him being able to come down the field and win the game for us. That definitely sparked some excitement in the DMV area.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was a big win. And then, of course, it's tough for us. That's our former head coach. I'll tell anybody, by the way, Dan Quinn is the perfect coach for a team that's trying to get back to contention. He did it for us several years ago. So great coach, great win for the Commanders. They're going to be the 6th seed, I believe, entering the playoffs right now.
We're going to be the we're going to be the 6th seed. We needed to win yesterday because if we would have lost, we still would have been in playoff contention. Like we would have had the 7th seed still, but it would have been harder for us to get that 6th seed or harder for us to eventually stay in that 7th seed because we would need to beat Dallas next week. And on top of that, Seattle and the Tampa Bay would still be in the hunt. So, for sure, Jayden's winning Rookie of the Year, no doubt. He had that locked up a long time ago, but then Bo Nix started to heat up, so it was like, oh well, it's Bo Nix. I'm like, you got to look at who he's playing. You got to look at what what Jayden's doing, and also on top of that, who he's playing. Because all of our games, besides 2, have been close. The Steelers, we lost to 1. That was a divisional team. I mean, we lost by 1. Not divisional team, playoff team. The Ravens, we lost by 1 score. That's another playoff team that's doing well. The Bucks, we lost to them our first game pretty bad, but they're still a playoff team. So all of our games have been relatively close, as far as the ones that we lost to. The Eagles was the only one I think that we truly lost that game. But last week we had another miraculous ending to that game. So I can't even really predict what's going to happen from here, but I'm excited to see what happens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And on our end, that's another loss for the Falcons. The Bucks are now in first place, so we now are basically. I don't want to be the negative guy as far as this Falcon fan base, but I think all of us kind of have the sense that the season is over. Even with a win next week, the Bucks now only have to beat the Saints next week at home to go to 10-7 and win the division. We smoked this division away. It didn't just happen last night. We smoked this division away when we were 6-3 against. We were 6-3. The division was 3-game lead. We lost that terrible game against the Saints. Young Hope has 3 field goals that game. We lost by 3. Denver beat the brakes off of us. The other guy who's going to be number 2 in the Rookie of the Year race because it's going to be Jayden. No questions about it. As mentioned above, there's no question about it. I love what Bo Nix is doing, but Jayden is clearly the Rookie of the Year. And then this Chargers game, Kirk Cousins threw 4 interceptions. We lost by 4 points. That was a terrible loss at home. Let's see what boy Mason. Yeah, you're right. We took too long to bench Kirk Cousins. The Vikings game, I'm sure all of y'all seen the memes of D Alford out there getting lost in coverage with Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. That was embarrassing. I'm sure you probably seen it too. So they handled their
last night.
Yeah, they handled their business as far as getting back in the division race. You kind of put yourself in a must-win position last night. We didn't win the game. Like I said, shout out to Jayden in that Commanders offense. They came out that second half and punked the Falcons. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. I'm not sugarcoating nothing. I'm a diehard Falcon fan. We're gonna be real. We got punked in the second half from the time that illegal contact happened on D'Angelo Malone. They said, all right, we locked in. That man Jayden went for over 100 yards rushing as a rookie quarterback. That man willed his team.
And shattered the rookie rushing record.
Yeah, shattered the rushing record. We got punked in the second half, and even when we had an opportunity to steal a game, which we didn't take advantage of it. And also, by the way, you can't fire a coach after one season. But if Raheem Morris do some crap like that again next season, I want him out of here. Because the way that he mishandled the end of that game, it's bad when the national media is criticizing you right now. From the commentators on Sunday Night Football. Tony Dungy was getting on him about it. It was like he's going to learn from it. You have been in the NFL too long, not just as a head coach, as a coordinator. That is a ridiculous way to look at the situation for the Falcons. And of course, I'm not mad at Riley Patterson for missing a 56-yard field goal on the road. Come on, man. That's too much on your kicker, who, by the way, he accurate, man. When I seen it, I thought it was going, but then I seen that bad boy start to like sell a little. Like, oh man. And unfortunately,
I put my head down when it went up because I was like, oh, he got it. It was a line drive right down the middle, but it was too high.
Yeah. And they were talking about he was bad in warm up, so it was a bad miss for. Well, it was a unfortunate miss for him. But again, you shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. But then, oh, by the way, Grady Jarrett, man, don't put that man out there on the coin toss. Don't you know his tails by now? Everybody knows his tails. That man said heads when y'all got the ball. I'm like, man, it's gonna be a long drive right here. But it was great. It was a great drive by Jayden Daniels and company to clinch that playoff spot.
Yeah, but y'all, I'll give credit. I'll give credit. Hey, Mom, how you doing? But I give credit to y'all secondary where it's due. AJ Terrell had the seatbelt on Terry McLaurin the whole game. Y'all let Zacchaeus, y'all's former receiver, y'all let him go crazy. Over 100 yards, or I'm sorry, 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, I think that it's a lot to learn on both sides of the ball from this game. Definitely, the one thing I will take away is that Jayden Daniels will do whatever it takes to win a game, and I love that. I will say that the defense, we definitely need corners. Marshawn Lattimore not being there last night definitely hurt us, especially on y'all's last 4th down where y'all threw that out route to Drake London. Michael Davis, you're looking like Benjamin St. Juste out there. I don't know what's going on. I know you didn't get a lot of playing time this season, but last night was abysmal. I don't know how you let you couldn't cover any receiver that they had. You couldn't cover Moon. You couldn't cover Drake London. Hodge, y'all couldn't cover Hodge either. I mean, couldn't cover Hodge either. Like, we can't have St. Juste and Michael Davis out there looking like burnt toast. You just can't do it. Being a rookie, only being our best corner, you can't have that happen. Marshawn being out definitely hurt us, but I feel like defensive line, they held their ground. I'll give you guys credit too, because you guys, as far as I know, I don't think you guys forced a sack last night.
Yeah, I think I cannot. We'll have to see the stats. I thought we got like a 1 or 2 early in the game.
I know. Fowler stripped the ball out, if that counts as a sack. But
oh yeah, that was definitely a sack.
Yeah, well, but y'all didn't let our defensive line get a lot of pressure on Penix last night, so I give y'all credit for that. Linebackers, y'all did a hell of a job. Who's that dude? Landman and Ellis. They play out of their mind in the first half.
I hate our linebacker core, to be honest with you. I hate the boys, man.
Hey, they did the thing against us, man. I don't know what was going on, but it was just an all around good game, at least on our end of things. Offense, got to get the running game involved more. Rodriguez was looking way better than Brian Robinson out there last night, especially towards the end of the second half. Keeping the ball moving, run through the tough tackles. Robinson, if he didn't have a wide open lane, he was getting stopped 1 or 2 yards from the line of scrimmage, or even behind the line of scrimmage. He's not I know he had the bulk of the carries going into this game, and there's a lot of wear and tear on the body, but you got to do something. You gotta be able to break some tackles here and there, and not just wait for the open lane. Because I saw when they showed the replays, there was a couple of plays where it was wide open on the left, and he still ran right. Trying behind the tackle. All you gotta do is just at least if you're not gonna get that many yards, at least bounce it out a little bit. See what you can do. But uh, that's just something you got to work on for next week.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I'm gonna hit these comments and then y'all we're gonna show the highlights from last night's game too. Too late to get
I don't think so.
I'm gonna go back on one of my statements. I've been pro trade Kyle Pitts all night, all season. I kind of want to see what he can do early on, and if he doesn't work, flip him. But we'll see what happens with that situation with Kyle Pitts. Y'all know how I feel about Kyle Pitts. He's hit or miss. I thought, hey, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I thought he dropped that ball on fourth down. When I see the ball go to Kyle Pitts, I said he's gonna drop the ball. I'm about to go in on social media as soon as he dropped this. But he ought to die. I'm gonna give him his props. Bino said the Pitts supposed to go to Denver, but they tried to fleece, man. Nobody can fleece nobody for that. Okay, I'm gonna be nice to him. He caught a touchdown last night. I'm gonna be nice. Y'all gonna make me go in on this young fella.
I don't think that Pitts his value is going down, especially after last night's game. You can get something for him. Any team would be willing to take a tight end that runs like a wide receiver. Especially
maybe some.
Yeah, I would take
somebody can use him.
Maybe we can do something with him. I don't know.
Oh man, coaches have been fired for that type of yes. And that's one thing that Raheem Morris is gonna he's gonna go to the offseason and think about the way he handled. And it wasn't just the end of the game. We walked into the half with all three of our timeouts in the second quarter. Dude just sitting there like, no. And I don't know if any of you have tuned into his press conference. That idiot said, and I quote, "I thought my team was going to run up quicker." What in the Bears are you talking about? Why are you running? Why are you trusting your rookie quarterback to run? You caught the ball with 33 seconds remaining. We just stopped the ball until 18 seconds. It was at least 15.
Y'all just walked up to the line and time out.
Like I'm sitting there like, is he getting an award for keeping his timeouts or something? Because I don't know what he had going on at the end of that point. Let's see, key things. The Falcons had some mental mistakes that were caused. The Commanders had some. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it. The Commanders had a ton of penalties last night, and they overcame a lot of it.
Way too many. Too many holding calls. Too many pass interference calls. Like that was part of what I was trying to say earlier. I didn't mention that, but the fact that we had 13 penalties, we had 10 going into the second half. 13 penalties for over 100 yards. You can't win games like that. Like I was talking to my friend. I'm like, are we trying to lose a game? Like, are we going to lose the game because of penalties? Are we gonna sit here and let them? Because that first drive you guys had, we had two big penalties on that drive that had y'all score y'all's first drive at the beginning of the game. And then I knew from there it was going to be a long game because it's like every time we had a big play, holding call. It got to the point where players was looking around, trying to after every big play we had to see if it was going to be a flag. I'm like, it's simple. You don't have to hold. I mean, it's easier said than done to not hold, but it's hard. Hey, Miss Jennifer, how you doing?
Okay, yeah, we'll make that happen. We'll definitely make that happen. But no, I agree with you because there are two things that swung the momentum of that game and swung it fast. The first thing, I mentioned the illegal contact earlier. The second thing, I don't know how in the world Jayden got that sack and turned that into a 30-yard Zach Ertz completion. Them two plays right there swung the whole game. Right then, yeah, that got the crowd back into the game. And that changed a lot. Yeah, that penalty did hurt us. But we want to hit these highlights real quick. Let me hit this comment. I want you to see this real quick.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go full screen. We're gonna go on the side, y'all, and we're gonna pull up the highlights from last night's game so we can talk about it as it's showing. I'm sure this first play gonna be the pick. I'm sure. I still don't know what we were looking at. I don't know if it was a bad route or what.
And that was
Who was that
after
on the interception?
that was after a good Bijan run too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as y'all see, the Commanders, I think they scored this drive for certain. By the way, that's a former Falcon. He was toasting. He was toasting us last night.
He toasted his former two teams, Falcons and the Eagles.
He did toast the Eagles. He made some clutch receptions last night. He definitely was big for the Commanders last night. Oh, by the way, we got whooped on fourth down all night in the game.
I thought we wasn't gonna get it. I did not know. I didn't know he was gonna get it. I thought I knew that the tight end, the receiver was going out for a pass, but I thought he was going to.
He comes up, and if he takes this back, here we go around the edge.
And see, Jayden's so special. He get out that pocket and he can make something happen.
Like
that's one of the things I like about Jayden Daniels for sure.
He's very smart and he doesn't flinch, like he doesn't rattle himself, you know.
Absolutely. And this guy right here,
our run defense is terrible.
Bijan Robinson, when I tell y'all he's had a really good season. Oh, look at who came to the game last night. Kyle Pitts. Y'all know how I feel about Kyle Pitts. These know fans are butts about it. Y'all know how I feel.
For some reason, tight ends is our kryptonite. Run defense and tight ends has always been our kryptonite.
Trust me, we understand very, very well.
we for some reason, every time a good tight end comes along, we can't stop him.
By the way, it's funny we scored a touchdown on this play, but later in the game, I don't know if we're going to show it, we had that bad snap, and it almost cost us.
It should have.
Yeah, it really should have.
That next play, I was like, why? We'll see it.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to show that. I wonder if they're going to show that possession. This is one of them penalty drives, got to be. Yeah, as Devon mentioned, the Commanders had 10 penalties in the first half, which is crazy.
And half of them, or majority of them, were holding penalties. Holding and pass interference. It was making me upset how we couldn't contain the edges. Like, I was running to the outside every play.
Oh, God, this is one of
that play right there. That play right there, I was like, "Oh my goodness, that would have been
that was one of those Penix overthrows last night. That's a timing thing for certain.
Ertz definitely played out of his mind last night too.
He did.
Definitely came in clutch. Yeah, those are one of his. On my hand, I can count how many long runs he had.
Look at D for getting toasted like he always do. He get cooked every week.
Crowder,
this man.
Crowder, only in his second game, he's been very reliable too.
Yeah, Crowder and Zacchaeus have stepped up for the Commanders the last couple weeks for certain.
Yeah, especially because I saw KJ Osborne got in the game. We just picked him up off the way. That interception, that was I see what he was trying to do, but that wasn't.
Yeah, I think he read that the whole way. Look at this bad snap from Drew Dalvin. Yeah, said Dan Quinn shut our run game down by stuff. Yeah, he shut us down for sure.
I knew Bijan was gonna have a big game against us. I knew he was gonna have at least 60, 70 yards. We can't stop.
I tell you, his vision is crazy. Some of them runs, I don't know how he sees certain things do it.
He's definitely an outside the tackle runner, a good outside the tackle runner. This is at this point. This is when I was like, okay, it's gonna be a long game.
You're sitting back at safety like Quan Martin. You got to
We had the penalties. Couldn't
Yeah,
stop
those penalties
on
was
the
killing
outside.
Boy, I tell you, this place
Corners getting burnt every play.
Pretty quiet around here right now.
Picked on the last drive, taken over this time from the 30-yard line and taken off.
Oh God!
Some blocking.
Watching Judon and Caden Ellis try to chase Jayden Daniels is the most depressing thing in the world.
See, I've been waiting all season for because I don't know if you remember back in 2012 when we played the Vikings and RG3 had that long 76-yard run.
Oh yeah, he do.
I've been waiting for that to happen, but I don't think we're gonna see it this season.
He is due. He's definitely due for a big run. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I thought it was gonna happen against the Panthers when he got hurt, but he took the wrong.
Oh, by the way, for our viewing audience, keep in mind we have all 3 timeouts. Keep this in mind. Just as you see this entire drive, we have all 3 timeouts. We have yet to take one of the timeouts. Just keep looking at the timeouts.
Look at that. Michael Davis. Every time the ball is getting passed and completed. Who's it on? Michael Davis.
Oh, he missed his throw so bad. Oh my God, he missed his throw so bad. Better time, that might be a touchdown.
Yeah, but Igbenogany, he's been good for us in the slot. I thought Spain Bristol would have moved back into the slot once Marshawn came back.
God, that win with I thought he missed his field goal too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I did. I thought he was gonna miss it. I was gonna shank hard to the left.
Now this play right here changed the entire game. When this play happened, I said, "Oh, brother, here we go." That's all the moment they need.
Yeah, man. I was happy when I saw that play. But I for sure thought y'all was just going to dominate us the whole game.
Yeah, once Jayden got in the groove, I said, okay, we about to have our hands full now. And they got a lot of third down conversions, too. That's another big thing.
Yeah, that was a false start right there.
And another, the Falcons got destroyed on 4th down last night, too, by the way. I want to make sure to mention that. And this was actually a good play call right here.
Smart move by Daniels. Because he would have handed that ball off, it would have been short by a lot.
Taking half the quarter. Daniels. Nothing open first look.
That was a good throw right there to Zach Ertz.
He said in his press conference last night, he said he sees Zach Ertz in one-on-one coverage in the red zone. He's going to him every time.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. People forget Zach Ertz used to be one of the better tight ends in this league.
Yeah, when he was on the Eagles, he would tear us up every year. Literally tear us up every year when he was on the Eagles.
You leave that hanging a little bit behind Ertz on that one, it's going the other way. But that's the sort of
that's a great throw right there because Jesse played good coverage, but that's a better throw.
So in front of him,
this
not
is
behind.
3 and out right here. Oh God,
see, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's a sack, I guess.
Yeah, that was a sack.
I think y'all had a penalty on that play too.
Yeah, it was holding.
But the other guys are doing great rushing the passer too.
Chris Rodriguez joined in the backfield by McNichols. As Daniels escapes, there's a lot of room if you can get away.
Look at this. Oh my
God.
Look,
I was like, woo.
Yeah, once this started, I'm like, okay, here we go. Here go some Falcon stuff again. This play made me so angry. He was trying to tackle him up, finish the play. That turned.
He looked out.
Yeah.
I will say we are missing Eckler a lot, especially in the receiving game and the screen game, because that would be an Eckler type of play.
Oh yeah. And this AJ missed a terrible tackle. Oh my God.
John Pete Pettit, I'm sorry if I said your last name wrong. I agree with you. Not just being a biased answer, but as an NFL fan, this roster is different from top to bottom. We actually just released Darian Mathis yesterday. He was our second round pick last year. He didn't play at all. He didn't play at all last year because he was hurt. And even this year, he only played maybe 2 or 3 games. But I was talking about it last night, like just to change the ownership from top to bottom, and then having the whole team be different. It just shows like what change in ownership can do, for an organization.
That is so true. Oh God.
So with that being said, Cowboys, Jerry Jones, I hate y'all respectfully. Jerry, you got to go.
Yeah, he got to go.
Cowboys, not Cowboys. Bears owner has to go. Giants owner has to go.
Absolutely.
There's living proof right here
Yeah.
what a simple change of ownership can do.
Absolutely. Changing leadership can do a lot for your organization because see what Washington's done. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be opposed to us changing some leadership eventually, especially at owner. I think his time is past in this league, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
As y'all see, we got totally dominated that second half. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the fact that we had the ball for literally 7.5 minutes and starting off the first. Like our first drive was 7.5 minutes. Ball control was immaculate second half.
Yeah, and we needed this stop big time, and this gave us one more crack at it.
Yeah, I was looking at the box score. We had the ball for a total of 41 minutes. Commanders have an owner who obviously cares about it. Yes, I say this every game. I don't know if you watch any of the Commanders games or have seen the highlights, but if you notice at the end of every game, especially a home game, Josh Harris is down there on the field. He's down in the locker room. Him and Adam Peters, they're always engaging with the fans, engaging with the players. That's something that Snyder would have never done. You barely saw Snyder's face unless he was losing.
Oh, this that fourth down we were talking about. Yeah, this was a great.
It was a great play on y'all's part. Horrible execution on the defense. There's no reason why we should let y'all get that fourth down.
I couldn't believe he was that open, to be brutally honest.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, there was no reason for it. It was Michael Davis. No, I'm sorry. It was Samuel on the coverage, but I give him credit for being a rookie.
Shout out to Ray McLeod, man. He was just a returner. Oh, God, they're going to play. Oh, man. Drew Dalman had like 4 high snaps all game. I was so irritated with Drew Dalman all night, and that's almost cost us.
But look what happens in the next play.
And
this is what I'm talking about. Why are we playing too high safety? Nobody's in the middle.
This was a
right down the middle
dot. Because I thought Kyle Pitts was going to drop. I'm not even going to lie to you. Because he had dropped so many passes like that before. But that was a great completion right there.
And Butler, you've been terrible in coverage all year. I don't know why Witt put you in on this play, but
amazing. And the Falcons were actually and right here, Zacchaeus. If Zacchaeus catches this pass, he might be gone.
If he catches the pass, then that was game. Right there.
He might have been gone for a touchdown. I'm not even gonna lie, the angle. Now, by the way, everyone, look at this. Another Raheem Morris. Look at the time, everyone. 33 seconds. 33 seconds.
Michael Davis.
Look at how much time is on the clock now. Look how many timeouts we have.
Michael Davis again. And I will give credit because I was supposed to have been a sack.
Yeah.
Michael Davis, you literally, I don't know.
Oh, this kick. Oh, Lord. That's like that kick in Madden where you kick it too high like a sky kick and it falls short. That's exactly what that looks
like. I remember I sent you a text. I said, good game. Right there. I said, good game right there on that kick. I for sure thought you had it. You know, he said he got his elusiveness from playing flag football as a kid. You know, if I don't see him in the Olympics next year or whenever the Olympics is, it's gonna be a crime.
Given them a lot here tonight in this second half. Playoff just in time. Daniels pumping, looking to take off. Daniels on the run.
Great play there by Jayden Daniels. And that was a dot to Zach Ertz to win the game for the Commanders and put them in.
We didn't catch it.
Yes, sir. And they had to review it. They were trying to wonder, did he catch it? But that was a catch all day long. That was a great game.
He pulled the ball in last minute.
That was a great game. Great game right there by the Commanders. But like we said, man, in the state, for the state, let me put this up before we get into it. I want to show y'all the NFC playoff picture as it stands today. So as of today, the Commanders are the number 6 seed. They will be going on the road to the Rams, who I think they're going to beat. I'm not going to disrespect the Rams. I'm going to say this first before I say why I say I think the Commanders are going to beat the Rams. The Rams, I don't know how they're here. They've had a really good year. Stafford's been solid. They've had injuries like crazy this year, and they're still in this position. But I like this matchup for the Commanders because I don't know if they have enough to slow down that Jayden Daniels offense at this point. I don't know if that Rams defense has enough, to be honest with you.
Okay, so this is I was praying to the football guys or whoever is the football guy that we would not play Philly in the first round. I did not, by any means necessary, did not want to play Philly in the first round, especially at home. That's too close to this last game that we just played them, and they just blew the water on the Cowboys yesterday. And with their backup, so all the Eagles fans that's watching this, I don't want to hear no excuses about, we played Pickett. Because y'all beat the Cowboys with Pickett and McKee. So I don't want to hear anything about, we just played Pickett. But that's another story. But the fact that we're playing LA at home or LA in LA, I do think we have a chance, even if we don't win that game, which I'm not wishing that, but even if we don't win that game, Commanders fans, don't be mad at me, but I'm not going to be upset if we lose. I'm not going to be upset if we're first round exit because we're not even supposed to be in this position right now. We're supposed to be a 6-win, 7-win team right now, but we're 11-5. We're in the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, with a whole new ownership, whole new team, and we have a chance to go further than the first round for the first time since it's been like 20 years, over 20 years. So I'm definitely excited to see what we can do if we keep that 6th seed because we still have to beat Dallas next week. Green Bay still has to beat. I'm not sure who they play. Or they play the Bears. They still have to beat the Bears next week. I feel like that Bears-Packers game is going to be a trap game for the Packers, seeing how Detroit almost lost to the Bears twice. I feel like the Packers could be in that same boat, especially I think they're playing Chicago, right?
Yeah, they are. They got Chicago at home. Y'all go to Dallas.
Yeah, no, they're playing Green Bay.
Yeah. They're at home against Chicago. So as Devon has mentioned, I'm just going to show y'all this screen. Basically, this is if both teams win next week. This is the locked in playoff position. The Rams won the division, the Eagles won the division. So the only thing both got to if they both win, that's the reality situation for them. For the Lions fans that are watching, I know it shows Minnesota's the number 1 seed at this moment, but if they win tonight, let's just assume that they win tonight, that would be the matchup right there. Let's see. Got somebody checking in and said that the Rams game is definitely, I think that's winnable for the Commanders also.
That's my boy Samaj. Shout out Samaj.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I agree. I think that Rams game is definitely a winnable one. In the Falcons situation, as y'all see, the Buccaneers are currently the number 4 seed. The division has not been clinched yet because this is what the situation will be next week. The Falcons and the Bucs are both playing at 1 o'clock. If the Falcons beat the Panthers next week and the Saints win, the Falcons will be the 4th seed. Why? Because of the division record and head-to-head. That is the only window the Atlanta Falcons have. I think this division is over. I think that the playoffs are over for us. But that is the only way that the Falcons can make the playoffs at this point. But if both win next week, Tampa will be the 4 seed at 10-7. So that's the only
one. Fans gonna hate to hear this, but y'all need to be NOLA fans next week. Y'all need to y'all look. I'll say this as a diehard Commanders fan, Washington fan. When Dallas had played the Eagles the first time, I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't rooting for Dallas. You know what I mean? I was rooting for Dallas because we was playing for the first seed at the time. So that's the one and only time I did that. The one and only time just for seeding purposes. But yesterday I didn't really care who won that game because I knew either way it went. You know, we're in the playoffs either way. So
right. And also right now in the 4 seed, and that's just showing y'all if both teams win next week, the Bucs are the division champ. If the Bucs was to somehow lose, the Falcons would win the division. And if they tie, they're going to still be in the playoffs at 9-7-1. So the only way that the Falcons can make the playoffs at this point, as you see by the playoff machine, shout out to ESPN for the playoff machine, is it got to be a win and a Falcon win, Saints loss. Falcons and the Saints win is the only way that you can make the playoff at this point. Regardless,
is Derek Carr out for the season?
I'm not sure.
Because he could come back next week and shock everybody.
Yeah, that's an interest. That would be an interesting situation too. The last game of next week will be the Sunday night game between the Lions and the Vikings. Why is that game important? The winner of that game is gonna get the bye week. If the Vikings win, the Vikings have the bye week. If the Lions win, the Lions hold on to the bye. So either one of them are gonna either go to Atlanta or Tampa. If the loser goes to Atlanta or Tampa, the winner gets the bye week. So that game is big for the NFC North next weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing that because I don't know who's going to win that game. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, that game, even the game last night, Matt LaFleur, I don't know why, down 17, you're going to keep running the ball. That made absolutely no sense to me. Like, yes, it was working in the first quarter, but you see your defense is not able to stop Sam Darnold in their air attack. Even when they were up 17, they were still throwing the ball. So why you're down 17, you need to win the game to stay alive in the playoffs, at least for the 6th seed. Why are you running the ball? Why?
You're right. I didn't understand their management either in that game. And the last but not least thing, we're going to bring up the stat line from last night. We want to show y'all the stat line from last night. Let's go to it. Okay, all right, we're gonna go back on the side because it got us. All right, so for the Falcons, Michael Penix, 19 of 35, 223. He had a touchdown and an interception, that bad interception early in the game. He got sacked twice. He missed a lot. He had a lot of overthrows last night. It's expected as his first road start as a rookie. So he missed some throws, but he hit some good throws last night too. Those things going to be cleaned up. Jayden Daniels, man. Hold on. Let's just take a moment for this rookie, by far rookie of the year. 24 of 36, 3 touchdowns. That one interception that Caden Ellis came up with. He got sacked 5 times. And I think most of our sacks came in the first half. I don't think we got a second half sack, which is crazy to think that he got sacked 5 times and still had the day he had.
He got sacked twice in the second half.
Oh, okay. Sorry, in the second half. I totally forgot about it. He had a QB rating of 100.1, 16 for $127. 16 for $127.
Jayden Daniels, man. I'll say it again. There's not enough words to show how much this culture and this team appreciates this rookie quarterback. He put the team on his back when it mattered most. Most rookie quarterbacks, they're not going to do what he's doing. Not saying that they're not capable. It's just they're not going to. They're not going to take off and run when it matters most. They'll sit there and take the sack, wait for something to open up. But he doesn't see it, he takes off. That's the one thing I like about Jayden Daniels is that if he doesn't see it, he's going to run.
Oh man, we got a Cowboy fan checking in talking about Washington. Oh, brother,
that's my boy Rocco, man. It's all good. Hey, you got to worry about your quarterback and your team. You got to worry about what's going to happen next year.
Oh man, Cowboy fans, listen, y'all go to the offseason, man. Y'all got a lot to work. Y'all got work to do this offseason. The Dak contract is one thing. Y'all got a lot on y'all hands this offseason. Y'all got veterans on that team who need to be gone. Y'all got some issues on y'all hands. We're gonna pray for Cowboy fans.
If y'all found a running back in Dowdle, but I feel like if you can manage to draft Jeanty for Boise State, that offense automatically becomes nastier. You know what I'm saying? Just you gotta make sure you put the right pieces around Dak, get him another wide receiver in there.
Absolutely. Let's see the rushing totals for last night for the Atlanta's. Bijan 17 of 90 with 2 rushing touchdowns. Tyler Algier 3 of 19. Ray McCloud had a 14-yard jet sweep. Michael Penix had 2 for 3. Listen, I love Tyler Algier, but the way that Bijan Robinson is running at this point, it kind of takes away from his carries. But I mean, credit to Washington in that second half for locking in on that running attack because we didn't do anything that second half running the ball. A lot of that came in the first half.
Yeah, I think in the third quarter, I think we had like over 140 yards and then to y'all's 3.
Yeah, they dominated.
Yeah, we had the ball for 7.5 minutes at first half. I mean, coming out second half.
They sure did. And as y'all see on the Commander side, 216 yards total. Of course, we spoke about Jayden Daniels. Brian Robinson, 13 of 60. Chris Rodriguez had 5 of 16. Zacchaeus had 1 carry for 8 yards. Jeremy Nichols, I thought he was on that play. Had a crazy little 5-yard run for him.
He was more active in the receiving game. But I want to highlight this before we move forward. Chris Rodriguez, if you look at that stat line, 5 carries for 16 yards, it doesn't look like much. But if you watch the game compared to how Brian Robinson had, those holes that Rodriguez had, they were not the biggest lanes that he could run through. He ran through those tackles. Robinson, not so much. Those yards kind of came from wide open lanes. You know what I mean? But Rodriguez is definitely a pound for pound good running back.
Yes, sir. I do agree with that from last night. He definitely came and made some big key plays too for the Commanders. Let's go to the receiving total. It don't even feel like Drake had 106. It don't feel like he had 106.
No, he had 106, bro. Michael Davis was getting abused.
When I tell you, it don't even feel like he had 100 last night. But yeah, Drake had 7 for a buck 06. Look at the number 2 leading receiver, Kyle Pitts, 4 for 44 with a touchdown. I don't have too much to say about that. About time. That's their job. You got draft number 4. I'm gonna leave you alone. But Darnell 2 of 37. Ray McCloud had a catch. Cordero Hodge. By the way, Michael Penix. I don't have nothing personal against Cordero Hodge. But if you throw another deep shot to him, that he is not fast enough to go catch him, gonna scream. Man he's not a deep ball receiver. Just get him a 4 to 5 yard throw. Please don't throw no more deep shots to Cordero Hodge. Please no more. But on the Washington side, Alameda Zacchaeus, Falcon fans, if that name sounds familiar, he was number 17 on the Falcons. He was with the Falcons, I want to say from 19 to 22. He was with Matt Ryan a couple of years. He was with Marcus Mariota. That's the last year we had him. He was with Marcus Mariota.
Yeah,
Zach Ertz
earned this up that year too.
Yeah. Zach Ertz 6 for 72 and 2 touchdowns. If you had him in fantasy football, you won your game. He helped you win your game.
Yeah, he definitely showed up when it counted last night.
I
think this was his biggest game so far.
Yeah.
Outside of last week, but Zach Ertz, this game was his biggest game of the season.
Yes, sir. And as you see, let me see. Jameson Crowder had 3 for 25. He had a couple of key completions. John Bates had a 14-yard catch. Chris Rodriguez had a 12-yard reception. Brian Robinson had 2. Terry McLaurin. Shout out to AJ Terrell because I thought he was going to struggle with Terry McLaurin last night. He actually had a really good game against Terry McLaurin. I thought he was going to struggle last night.
I think with Terry, he really needs another wide receiver. Like, not saying as the kids didn't do his job, but if you look at the Broncos and Bengals game, Jamar Chase had Surtain on him the whole time, and Higgins popped off. And then when Higgins started popping off, then Surtain moved, and that's when Chase started popping off. We can have that same effect with Terry, with another key wide receiver like a Jamar Chase or a T. Higgins coming over. I think that pressure will come off of Terry because they were focusing on Terry because they thought he was going to get most of the targets. But AJ Terrell, I give you your props. I give you your flowers. You strapped that man down the whole game.
Question, now that you mentioned that receiver thing, is that the Commanders' number one need this offseason?
I wouldn't say it's the number one. It is definitely a top 3 priority, but I wouldn't say it's number one. The number one need, I believe, right now is probably going to be a corner. I was just talking about this last night, too. I think we go corner, first-round pick. Second-round pick, we address the offensive line or edge rusher. And then later in the draft, we can address a wide receiver because Terry McLaurin was a third-round pick, and you see what he's doing. So I don't think, even if – depending on how free agency goes, we can even address the wide receiver spot in free agency. You don't even have to worry about it in the draft, because we still have depth. We still have Noah Brown. Noah Brown's definitely going to re-sign. We still have Crowder. I don't know if we're going to re-sign Crowder just because of his age and injury history, but he's definitely serviceable. I mean, we still have Luke McCaffrey that needs to open up in his role. Danny Brown, great vertical route runner that we have on the team. He makes plays mostly on the deep balls. Who else? We got KJ Osborne. I don't know if we're necessarily going to re-sign him. We only picked him up in waivers because Noah Brown got hurt. We have Bryson Tremaine, who we saw a little bit in the game last night. He's more of a practice squad receiver, but he got in there a little bit last night. So wide receiver isn't really too much of a need. I would necessarily say we need to address the offensive line again. We need a dominant edge rusher, Cleveland Farrell. I love you, but you haven't really done much, even with Dorrance Armstrong. Dorrance Armstrong had a strong presence in the beginning of the season, but he's kind of fallen off as the season progressed. He did have an injury, so that kind of pushed him away. But I feel like we need an edge rusher, and then we definitely need a corner. We got to have somebody to pair with Marshawn because St. Juice isn't going to do it. Sainristil, he can do it, but I feel like he would feel more comfortable being in the slot where he had his success at Michigan. So definitely need to get that done in the first round.
Totally can agree with you on that one. Good take on that too. Fumbles, both teams had lost fumbles, but they recovered, so nobody turned the ball over that way. Atlanta's defense, Jesse Bates had 12 tackles, 7 solos. He had a sack. I didn't realize Jesse Bates got a sack on the game. But Hayden Ellis, 9 tackles, got an interception last night. Just Simmons had 6. Dave Lamont had 6. Mike Hughes had 6. Got to get burnt. The offer had 6. Had to get burnt. JT Bertrand actually had a pretty good night for the Falcons last night. He had 5 tackles. Grady had 5. Judon got a sack for the second straight week. He's still not getting re-signed, by the way, buddy. So you might as well chop that up. You're not gonna be a Falcon next season. Good. Thank you for the last 2 weeks, though. Eddie Goldman had 3 tackles. D'Angelo Malone 3. Not too much going on as far as tackle wise for us on that end. Michael Penix had a tackle on the pick, but going on Washington side, Quan Martin. Hey, shout out to Quan Martin. Quan Martin had a couple of big breakups on Michael Penix late in that third quarter. He had 8 tackles, 7 solo. Michael Davis, who you heard Devon going in on him. Michael Davis, you better tighten up. Boy don't like you.
Like he didn't really get much playing time this year, but at least when you come into a game where it means something, you got to play better than that. You know, you're a professional corner. You got to play better than what you did. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Bobby Wagner had 6 tackles. Jeremy Chin had a couple of good solid breakups as well. I've always liked Jeremy Chin, even at Carolina. That was Dan Quinn made you say?
No, I was saying Chin has been my favorite player next to Bobby Wagner and Luvu. But Chin has been my favorite pickup because he's always flying everywhere you see him. He's always in on some play.
Yes, sir. Doris Armstrong, he had a sack last night. St. Jude's had 3 tackles. How you say his name? I'm gonna mess his name up.
Mike Sainristel. I couldn't say it when he got after. I thought it was Sainristel, but it's Sainristel.
That's what I thought too. Let's see. John Newton had 3 tackles. Dante Fowler, by the way, man, no shade to Dante Fowler Jr. How do you stay with a job in a Dan Quinn team? He was a Falcon.
Because Dan Quinn loves him.
He do. He loved. Listen, claim that man on your taxes, because I don't know how in the world Dan Quinn keep finding you every week, but he does. He stays with Dan Quinn. So shout out to Dante Fowler. He got a sack.
Pretty good for us. He got, I think, 9.5 sacks, 8.5 sacks on the season.
Yeah, he's been solid. That's the crazy thing about it. He's like he was a first round pick. He's not the elite player, but he's productive. Like he's that great role player. If you put him in the right scheme, he's gonna go off and give you production. It's crazy how he does that.
Yeah.
Let's see. The tackles are kind of even with everybody else the rest of the way. So let's see. Interceptions. Quan Martin had a pick. K. Nels had a pick. A. Williams had a kick return. So nothing too much in there.
I was very surprised that Luvu was not involved. So you guys did a good job holding him back, last night.
Oh, man. Riley Patterson, 1 of 2. He missed that 56 yard. The field goals were kind of even. The punts were kind of even. I'm going to go to the stats as far as the team stats real quick. Let's see what was the difference in that game. Washington had more first downs than the Falcons, as y'all see. The Falcons were a god-awful 2 of 10 on 3rd down last night. The Commanders were 6 of 13. Both teams converted all their 4th downs, which is crazy.
You guys did that too.
Say it again.
Those two 4th down plays you guys had, those 2 4th and 11, and that 4th and goal, y'all converted on those.
Yeah, we converted twice. The Commanders ran 17 more plays than us. Drives were kind of even. Passing was kind of even. The Commanders beat the brakes off us as far as rushing, though. So that's another factor. Another thing, the Commanders, shout out, y'all won despite 13 penalties last night. That's like Devon said earlier, you can't do that on normal days, but shout out to them.
Playoffs. We're definitely not winning. We commit 13 penalties. We're definitely not winning first round.
Falcons were 3 of 3 in the red zone. The Commanders were 4 of 6. So it wasn't a bad day at the office on either side as far as the red zone. And oh my God, turnovers were even. Look at the time of possession. The Falcons were on the field for 41 minutes. Good Lord. Shout out to the Commanders,
man. That was all second half because y'all had it in the first half. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we had 15. So we were on the field for 10 minutes in the second half. That's crazy.
That's what they say. It's a tale of 2 halves, man.
Yes, it
is.
is.
Definitely dominated us the first half. Even if you look at the box score, like it was y'all scored 17 in the first half. We scored 17 in the first half. I mean, the second half.
Yeah.
Y'all scored 7 in the second half. We scored 7 in the first half. So definitely
it's crazy. Yes, sir. So those are the box scores. So before we wrap it up, man, you got anything to say for the state of the Commanders right now, heading into this last week in the postseason?
Like the great Al Davis says, just win, baby. You just gotta win. Gotta beat Dallas in Dallas next week. I think it's doable. Knock on wood. They got us last time, but that was. I think we just we went into the game thinking that it was going to be easy, but playing Dallas is never easy. So we'll see what happens next week. I don't necessarily see us playing our starters the whole game, especially if it's a blowout. Then I think we're going to sit our starters out at halftime. But I feel like this game's going to be a trap game for us again, and it's going to be a really good game, really close game. I think Dallas is going to sit on this loss with the Eagles yesterday, and they're going to come back firing even stronger at home next week to wrap up their season. They're probably going to try to spoil our playoff hopes as far as being the 6th seed, not having to play Philly. But, we'll see what happens. Rooting for the Bears next week. Any Bears fans in the chat, rooting for them. The last thing I will have to say is any Giants fans in the chat. Y'all trying to get the first round pick and y'all want to go out there and put on the best performance of the year against the Colts when they try and get into the playoffs. Y'all both had two things to y'all should have had an agreement at the beginning of the game and said, hey, Colts, we're going to give you this win because we need the first round pick and y'all need to get into the playoffs. So we're going to make it a game, but just let us win. My boy Geraldo, he's a Giants fan. That's why I had to throw that jab in there. I talked to him about that last night.
Oh man, but as far as us, you got to finish with a winning. If we, in my personal opinion, I think our season is over. Last night was the end of the season for us. You got to finish with a 9-8 record. To me, you've been 7-10 the last 3 years. You got to at least finish with a winning record. Even if you don't win the division, which I think, to be brutally honest, you blew the division already, in my opinion. I think Tampa's been playing better football than the Falcons at this point. So if they win the division, they earned it. These guys came from a 4-6 record and have only dropped one game since. So they earned it to even get back in this position. But the Falcons need to finish 9-8 to at least establish some momentum going into 2025. You got your hands full regardless. So, by the way, just for both of our fan bases that's in the chat, if the standings stay as is, the Falcons and Commanders will rematch in Atlanta next season because the NFC East, based on your standings, whoever's in the standings, they're going to finish second place. We will likely finish second, so that rematch could happen in Atlanta. So that would be a fun rematch right there. But
that's going to be like what the 5th, 6th year in a row we're playing you guys.
It's like we play almost every year.
Y'all might as well join the division at this point.
Yeah. But the Falcons are in a position you have to at least finish with a winning record because you put so much money into trying to win now. You got to finish 9-8 and hope that the Saints give you some luck. I don't see it. The Saints are trash. By the way, we need them to win. They're trash. They're going to be blowing that Ross up this offseason. So, again, you got to bounce back off that win and at least finish your home schedule with a 9-8 record. You cannot finish 8-9. But again, the Falcons. And by the way, Raheem Morris, you need to go to the clock. You need to call all the professional coaches in the NFL that win in this league and learn how to clock manage because if you don't tighten up, you will not be the Falcon coach at the 2025. You won't get fired because, of course, it's your first year. You got to get a year to get your roster right. But I think the reality is if you don't tighten up and we have another season like this next year, you will not be the head coach of the Falcons in 2026. So we got an interesting offseason ahead.
And what do you think about Kirk Cousins?
He's out of here. Because nobody's going to – the sad part about it is I understood the move at the time. I would have – but if your plan was to go get Michael Penix Jr., he shouldn't have been paid as much as he was. Because at this point, you now have this crazy money that you got to get off of. We're going to probably cut him because I don't see anybody trading for him. The only possible team I can see – I don't see anybody trading for him, so I think they're going to cut him. But at this point, you now go into next season, you have Michael Penix as your starter. So I think it was an idiotic decision. I actually want the GM fired. I've been wanting the GM fired for quite some time now. But I think at this point, that's a dumb move that you made, but you got to just eat that. You got to eat that dead cap next year, and then 26 have some money to work with. So,
Yeah, because
Kirk,
that could have been put in other places. You know what I mean?
yeah, we didn't get Commanders Kirk, and we definitely get Vikings Kirk. I don't know what that is that we got. We got like 4 weeks of good Kirk Cousins, and after that, it was just a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I didn't think his downfall was going to come that fast, especially in a core part of the season too. 5 games straight.
He fell off a cliff.
Yeah, hard.
He did. But by the way, shout out to his agent. His agent need to go to the Hall of Fame for how he finessed these contracts for Kirk Cousins. I don't know how.
First round ballot He'll be the first agent to go into the Hall of Fame because the way he did these contracts, I don't know how he's doing it. Even after he left us, I don't know how the Vikings got him to get him to where he's at. You know what I mean? Or payment wise, because he only had 1 good season really with the Vikings, or 2 good seasons with the Vikings, and he came to you guys. You know,
totally agree. But on that note, y'all, this has been the Falcon Commander recap. This is our last show of 2024. Already in advance, Happy New Year to everybody out there. The Commanders, we're going to get ready to watch them in the playoffs. The Falcons, this might be my last home game of the regular season that I get to attend. I thought I was going to go to one for my birthday, but of course, we don't know how to win no games in the second half of the season. So you know how that goes.
Well, I just want to say, thank you, Nate, for having me on, especially for the last end of the year, on a note. I missed this. You know what I mean? It's been a long time since I've been on the show with you, man. So it's good to be back in my element doing what I like, talking about football and especially my team. So
yes, sir. We're gonna make this happen more often too, by the way.
Yes, sir.
I will just see somebody checking in before we get off. Great show. We appreciate that.
Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. Much love.
All right. On that note, y'all have a good rest of your day and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.